So hopefully I get my group back again. That audio when I started. Is it good now? Nah, yeah, appreciate you, Ruiz. I'll try to be soft and calming now instead of uptight like I wanted to be there a minute ago. See, I think they're punishing me right now for canceling the first live because I have barely any viewers, but you know how that goes. Had to do it again. I had no audio. I'm checking it against this square to make sure I got a 90-degree angle between the board and the tie beam. You know, I was watching Bob Ross the other day, and I realized that this is not a whole lot unlike Bob Ross. It's just the woodworking version of it. Love Bob Ross, man. Very calming. I mean, he did stuff with such ease too. I know it's not, you know, Da Vinci, but he loved it. That's the key. Anyone can do it. Bob Ross would say that all the time. I love that. Because anybody can do it. Anyone can do this. It just takes some dedication and stick-to-itiveness. You can't quit. You know, you get better at things the more you do them. So if you're doing stuff regular, just a few minutes a day on something, exercise, whatever it is. You got to keep doing it, you know, unless you're sick. Then you shouldn't do it. But in general, you know, every day doing stuff, you're going to get better at it. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Now we've got our areas marked out to put this board in, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting now. That's not bad. That's right on that line. Beautiful. Oh, thank you, DocuLover. Appreciate you being here. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Shout out to DocuLover, friend of the show. Shout out to Ruiz, friend of the show. We're here in the shop from a different angle today, apparently one that YouTube doesn't like. But sometimes I got to be able to show you the whole thing. So this is for folks that come in here every day, not for people who are just passing through who give me watch hours. I'm going to back that camera up so you all can see what I'm actually doing. And I'm not trying to get clicks and views. What I'm trying to do is show you the project. So appreciate y'all being here, especially Ruiz and DocuLover. Appreciate you being here as well. I'm sure if I did close-ups of me with a gigantic sword, I would get 1 million viewers in here. So we're just gonna do stuff our way here. Oh yeah, so we have, that's a good question, DocuLover. We have like soft boxes that we built out of powerful lights in here. So I have, and I could show it to you too. I have lights hung up from the ceiling with a sheet around them. They are like, each one of them is like 300 watts. They're extremely powerful lights. So you see, boom, we have like a soft box set up right there. I don't have my other lights on right now, actually. So you're seeing kind of reduced lighting. Maybe I need to turn those on too. Turn these lights on also. That's a great question, Ruiz. I don't think I need to peg the boards going across. What needs pegs is those, you know, I'll show you what needs pegs. We need a peg right here. We need a peg right here. I'm considering putting pegs right here instead of using these pins, but probably not. Peg right here, peg right here, peg right there, peg right there. Then we're going to put pegs in these corner braces here that you can't see today, but you've seen before. Over here, there's going to be one peg in each of those corner braces. It's going to go all the way through. I think that's all that needs to be pegged, because I'm going to stand up on it so you can see it's pretty sturdy, man. Yeah, I can walk on it. I don't even have any nails or anything in there right now. So right now, that's just me putting wood together. So straight joinery, no nails, no screws, no pins, no staples. And it's already almost sturdy. So it just needs one dowel per you got the right idea asking questions, man. You're really good at that. All right, who a knife. Big knot right here. That's a problem. Because when I cut in here and when I chisel this away, it's going to want to go in every kind of direction. So I wanted to skip this one, put one right here, and then do runners down the middle between them. But I don't think that's a good idea. I think we just bite the bullet and cut right into this knot. I think that's the best bet. This is going to want to cut me too. It's going to want to throw my saw. Go. Smells good, even if it looks bad. Now, if you're going to do a project like this, it's really important that you have strength up here. That's why I laminated or joined 2 2x4s, so that when we cut these joints in it, there's still like at least a 2x4 1/4 worth of support wood under it. If you use 1 2x4 and you cut these joints in it, you've got a lot less support wood. So that's why I chose to laminate 2x4s here, so that you have enough support wood that when you cut into it, because now all we have is this. This is the physics of it and the engineering. This is all the support wood we have for the whole beam. As soon as we cut one into it, as soon as we cut the first one, now all we're working with is that much wood, right? Because it's been compromised right here. I don't know if I should be telling you all that, but just for your information. But anybody can do this. We're gonna write up detailed plans soon. I'm sure there's a way to do this with nails and screws too, like where you just use the same dimensions and just apply nails and screws to it. Yeah, structural integrity, that's it. So when you subtract a joint from a piece of wood, what's left is only the amount of wood that joint leaves here, because the wood is going to break in its weakest point. So if you provide the wood with a weak point, and I know this because when I do woodwork, I'm looking for the weak points. I'm trying to break wood in its weakest areas. And so that's why, you know, it's important to pay attention to how much support wood you have. We're gonna get the big guns out. Got this big knot. I feel like I need a little bit more force for it, but we're gonna put lines in the bottom and lines in the other side as well. Put some stop cuts. There goes that pin. That's okay. That's why I told you I might dowel those ends, because whenever I start shifting this thing around, the pins want to pop out. But it's still structurally rigid, even without that pin in there. So I love that. Now I'm going to do a little more stop cutting because of this knot. It's going to want to take wood from the bottom of this mortise, and I don't want it to rip out a whole bunch down here. That's my worst nightmare. If this knot takes the wood out from under it. So I might actually do one more saw cut right here through the middle of the knot to break it up a little bit more, so that when I chisel, it doesn't take out a chunk of the support wood. I really don't want that to happen. So let me cut one more time in there. Appreciate everybody being here. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Click that subscribe button. Right now we're working on a traditionally joined bunk bed. I really don't look great from that angle, but it's okay. I'm not here to look great. I'm here to teach stuff. All right, so now we got one more cut here so that I can reduce the chances of that knot knocking out the wood. Let me go on the other side and make stop cuts over there. Everything's 360 degrees. I always make my layout marks 360 degrees too. All right, cross your fingers. Now the knot doesn't want to break right there, so I'm gonna have to do this with a smaller chisel. Let me do the other side first. I just want to see what kind of resistance it's giving me. I might hit it like this. Back side of the chisel, micro bevel, like this. If I have to, I'm going to take it out in chunks so it doesn't remove too much. Wow, I hit the ceiling. And here we have the problem of these knots. So now I'm going to use a smaller chisel. Remember, when you apply force to something, where the force of impact is divided over the surface area of whatever object is hitting whatever object. So obviously, and I'm not an engineer, I went to school for music. This is a hobby. When I use a smaller chisel, you would think it's going to do less, but it's actually going to apply more force to the front of this because the surface area of my mallet strikes is spread out over a smaller area. So using a smaller chisel when you have tough wood or a knot or something is probably your best bet. Notice we're not on the knot anymore, but we still have a lot of problems with the wood because the knot affects all of the area around it too. And the grain gets turned and twisted. It does not respond in a predictable way. Since we're looking to repeat things, we want predictability. So that's why knots are really a bad deal when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's only going to get so pretty because of that knot that was in there. It's going to be hard to get the wood flat and smooth, even if I was to sand it. Wow. Slow night, eh? Let me see if I do a close up or close zoom in a little bit. Now we got our one joint out there. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Click that like and subscribe button. We're doing traditional woodworking, building this bunk bed. No plans, nothing like that. We just had rough dimensions. What I just did was cut out a lap joint for this board. It's probably a little skinny as I look at it right now. No, it's gonna work. Oh. And it can be loose in there a little bit. This is one of the ones that can be loose. And as Ruiz pointed out, if it's too loose, then I can peg them. But I don't think I'm gonna have to do that. When the mattress goes down on top of them, that applies force from the top. And so they're pretty sturdy once you do that. You notice that if you have an IKEA bed with those rollout boards that are in fabric, they're not attached in any way. They just lay out over the top. All right, let's get that mallet and cut this out. It's really calling me on all my phones. You don't want to leave me alone. So glad to have you, Ruiz, man. So glad to have you. Oh, I didn't do stop cuts at the top and bottom. We want to do those most definitely before we go on. That's my ADHD kicking in, making me forget one step. Very important step. I was doing this the other day and the board fell down on my head. It was so stupid. Another case of the ADHDs. No knot on this side, so it should be a lot easier. Like butter. Back side of the chisel, gonna kind of pull. Try to get that flat. I actually want this side a little higher because to nitpick, the way I built this, because the floor is unlevel, is that this side is slightly lower. So I'm cutting a little less out of this mortise. And I call it a mortise, but it's really a lap housing, but let's see how that fits. Oh, fits perfectly. Look at that. And anybody, let's get it in on the other side too. There's a tap, just like that. When the boards sit slightly tight in here, they actually add to the structural rigidity of the bed. Now, I'm not saying that's something you can rely upon, but it adds another factor to your redundancy. That is, you have a number of things to keep your bed from falling apart. Braces, tie beams, pins, runners, all these different things to help it from falling down. The runners, these tines on the bed, they also help with that. Anything that's going to make this thing square is going to help the structural integrity of it. That one's loose, but the other one, there's a couple of them in here that are a little tight. So, because I'm cutting them by hand, they vary. I think this one needs to sit slightly lower. This side's fine. probably can't see from y'all's angle, but this one is slightly higher than these, so I'm thinking that probably needs to come down a bit. When people are sleeping, if their sleeping surface is not level, it messes your back up, especially over time. Every night you're sleeping on, like, your mattress is worn out and it's kind of like worn in where your butt is. That's not good for your back. Even though it feels like a cozy nook, it really needs to be straight. That's why they say, like, sleeping on the floor is good for your back. Not that it's fun, but see, that pin got loose right there. It gives you a flat surface so your back doesn't get all messed up and your muscles don't do weird, funny stuff. I don't know about that. What do I know about that stuff? I'm not a doctor. Was Daniel up in here? I missed him. Sorry, Daniel. Shout out, Daniel. I don't have my phone as close to me today. Shout out to Daniel. Daniel Gandara, friend of the show. Uh-oh, Daniel, see, I see, yeah, you said you're late, so unexcused tardy. 10 lashes with a wet noodle. All right, now I am not going to lay another one. I'm not going to put another board up today, but I will lay one out. I'll show you all how I do that. I don't think this is long enough to go across. Just barely. It's 40 inches, like almost 40 inches exactly. There's my gap. Then I gotta check to see if it's square. This is 40 inches, but let me switch it for this. So I definitely want to have enough wood on both sides that I can. So you all can probably see that better. This is not the board I'm going to use. It's just the same width, 3.5 inches. Check to see if I'm square, and I am. So I'll start the line there, take this thing off, and complete the line with the speed triangle, speed square. Oh, I was standing right in the way. Sorry, folks. All right. Then I take my little gauge, wherever I put it. And since I have my lines on there now, and I've checked to see if the board's sized out, and I want to make sure that you all can see. Let me set my phone over here so I know y'all can see this. So now that I've marked my lines for where the runner is going to go across, next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this. We got to do it 360 degrees. Guessing at stuff is not a good thing with woodwork. So we've got this. I want to make sure you all can see this though. So I'm waiting until the little lag tells me that I'm in the right place. Yep, that looks fine. All right, so now I got my line here. I'm going to take my pencil, put it against that line so that it's not off. and keep my pencil at that same angle. Because once you find that angle, you don't want to lose it. If you move your hand around, move your wrist around, it's going to make that line be off. Here's my other one. It's going to be hard to write like this, but you're going to line up. I'm going to find that pencil line, right, with my pencil. Once I got it, keep my pencil at that angle. That one's not as good. And we take the little notch here on this side, take my pencil and find that notch and slide it right across. It looks like it's a little dull though. Just like that. Same thing on the inside. Oh, I gotta make the line because I can't see from up there. Same thing over here. I'm going to find that notch and slide the tool over. It slides pretty well. It's kind of designed to do that, I believe. You can also slide with a speed triangle, but it's a little, it doesn't hold your pencil quite as well. All right, let me go over to the other side. See if y'all got a good way of seeing that. Got my other phones in there. Dogs are really after it today, man. Really barking. I gotta turn it just slightly right there. Overhang slack. I'll trim the boards when I'm finished. Yeah, just like you see this brace right here has to be trimmed slightly so it sits flush with this. But that's like little stuff, fine tuning. Y'all should be able to see when I do the inside one, which will be a new thing. So. I'm glad you're loving it, Louise. It's really important. I think you're boosting my confidence. I was a little bit anxious today because, you know, things just haven't been as good as usual. But glad to have you, man. Breath of fresh air, Louise. And your attitude is so good, man. You're going to succeed. Hopefully you caught that. I didn't do that too fast. Can you all see that bottom line? So now we got our lines here on both sides. Yeah, this is the tricky stuff that like woodworkers don't always show you. It took somebody like to tie a bow tie. It took somebody explaining the little stuff and showing me every angle and all that stuff. To learn how to cut a dovetail, it took somebody showing me all the 360 degrees of a dovetail because it's not 2D, it's a 3D piece. So let's take the camera back out because I'm not going to cut that today. I'm going to actually end on that today. Thanks, Heather. All right, so this is our bunk bed project. Now we have at the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 runners in now, and I have to figure out something to do on the end. Remember, I have no plans for this. So I'm doing this all by ear with just rough dimensions. And the mattress will not sit on what I have there. It's gonna have to have one more runner. So I'm gonna have to squeeze one more in there in order for it to hold this mattress without somebody putting their feet down or their head down and feeling like the mattress is falling down. I build enough beds to know that that's a pitfall. So I'm gonna have to put something down there, and I'm trying to decide what it's probably gonna be a 1x1. I was thinking a 1x1 would work good there, work well, I should say. It was a little bit touch and go today. Rui said, "How is your hand, my friend? You good, by the way?" And I would say today my hand was a little touch and go. I had some cramping when I was doing sawing, but much better since it's been a couple days since I've used heavy power tools. The power tools are the worst because they vibrate. I had this thing called trigger finger where my finger would lock out of socket. It was really painful. So I had to stop doing woodwork for like a couple of years, and it was very upsetting because it's one of those things that I feel is therapeutic to me. Let's check this to see if it lines up with this board. If we can line it up easily on both sides to both lines. And it looks like it does there. What I did with this project was just take the joinery that I knew, and I said, I'm going to use, we need to know the dimensions of a bed. We need to know how long a twin bed is. Then we need to know how to make either a through mortise or a blind mortise, which is when two structural members meet, we have to have a joint for that, right? So then we need a certain amount of inches. I'm going to use that joint. Then I need a certain amount of inches wide, and I'm going to use whatever joint I'm going to use there. Now, in this case, you could see I've used blind mortises, and I showed those in another video. So check out the blind mortise video. I didn't go into detail, but basically what you have is a board where part of the end is turned into a tenon and part of the end is a shoulder, and it just sits in place between two members. So that's what I have there. I haven't used any dovetails, pretty much just mortise and tenon joinery on this. I wanted to do the runners with dovetails, but I thought that might mess with the width of the bed and also would make the bed buckle when it doesn't have any give. The dovetails aren't going to allow it to slide, and I think to a certain extent, you want the bed to have some give. You don't want it to be so rigid the whole bed topples over when somebody leans over. So you want it to kind of like have a little give that way, and then, bounce back into place. And I really appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, Ruiz especially, friend of the show, Daniel Gandara. Appreciate y'all being here on a Tuesday. Any folks that are new to the live stream, make sure that you subscribe. Check out the Discord. I think the link, Heather put the Discord link in there. Make sure that you check me out on social media. This is my name. I accept friend requests. Don't mind giving you my name. Check me out, Instagram, Facebook. It's just an extension of this, so not a problem. Love to answer questions. You can DM me, no problem. Appreciate everybody being here. We will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, the best day of the week for us. Whatever day we're on here, it's the best day of the week. I believe in y'all. I think you all could do this. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think other people could pick this stuff up. It's not to show off, though it is fun to show off. We all like to show off a little bit when we're good at stuff, right? But I do believe that everybody can do this. And I love you all, appreciate you all. Maybe we'll go a little longer tomorrow. I've just been kind of yick, like everybody else. Take care, Daniel. Appreciate you being here. Shout out to Daniel and Ruiz. One more time, friends of the show. Take care, y'all. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.